abusive, gaslighting, gray rocking, narcissistic. Sounds like a review of the latest psychological thriller, right? Well, it's not. These are all words that millennials and Gen Z use to describe the parents they have gone no contact with. And when I say no contact, I mean cut off, disowned, blocked, severed all ties. Don't believe me? Check this out.
You have held on for as long as you could, and this was literally your last resort. No one willingly goes no contact with a parent because they were just bored on a random Tuesday, or this is something they've always aspired to do with their lives.
For me, it's been almost 7 years, and it's been a really good 7 years. My mom has always been toxic since the day I was born.
The situation of estrangement goes on and on. More and more women are joining my group because their kids have walked away from you.
You have reached your breaking point after an entire lifetime of being abused, invalidated, dismissed, and emotionally terrorized by your parents.
It's happening more than you might think. In fact, it might be happening to you, to someone in your family, or someone you know. 1 in 4 Americans are estranged from a family member. That's over 85 million people who are completely cut off from someone in their family. Now, this is just another example of one of the biggest crises facing this country, the disintegration of the American family unit. Once considered a rare and shameful family secret, many young adults no longer believe blood is thicker than water. And to be perfectly clear, I'm not talking about a child cutting contact with their parent due to real physical, mental, sexual abuse and/or neglect. I'm talking about millennials and Gen Zs who are choosing to no longer agree to disagree with their parents about political and lifestyle differences. Instead, they're just cutting them off completely, often with absolutely no explanation. Now, Lynn and Amy are currently estranged and say tonight is their last effort to reconcile.
Amy and I have been estranged on and off for 23 years. I don't feel like I'm Amy's mother. I feel more like an acquaintance.
The estrangement with my mom, it's been on and off. This is the 3rd time that we've gone through a situation like this.
Last year, Amy and I were getting along pretty well. And I said to Amy, do you want to be friends on Facebook again?
And I got all emotional. Of course, Mom, I want to be your Facebook friend because yes, now I've got a daughter and now I can share and like tag you in all these great experiences.
Amy said, can you add her spouse on my Facebook friends? And I said, I don't really want to do that.
Is there a reason that you haven't added my partner back on Facebook? She had no explanation.
I chose to remove toxic people out of my life. I left everyone off Facebook and I blocked everyone because I don't want anybody to see anything. I didn't want anyone else on my Facebook. I needed time. I had been feeling that my daughter's spouse was standoffish, and I didn't understand it until I get a text from her that she had been holding a grudge against me over a baby shower that her son couldn't come to.
I don't want my daughter to grow up knowing Grammy and Mama don't get along.
I want to understand, what is this about? You don't take your mother out of your life for things like that.
I want a relationship with my mom, but I'm just really, truly not sure if it's healthy.
I asked Amy a few years ago, what was the defining moment in your life that you started to think your mother was against you? She still can't answer.
Well, Amy, Lynn, thank you for both being here. I noticed when you came out, neither of you looked at each other.
I didn't even see her, honestly, until just when she was standing right here.
Yeah, but after you both sat down, neither of you looked at each other.
I didn't want to start crying before we even started.
Well, this is your mother. This is your daughter. You have a history. Do you want a relationship with your mother?
I do.
Do you want a relationship with your daughter?
Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Well, based on results, you don't. Do you believe your mother loves you?
Yes.
Do you believe that she wants the best for you?
Sometimes, yes.
When you're around her and you leave that interaction, do you leave feeling better or worse about yourself?
When we have conflict, that's when I don't feel great.
And how about you?
Last year, we spent 6 months together, got together often, and I felt like I had my daughter back.
But then something happened.
Yeah, ridiculous in my opinion.
Listen, there's a difference between topics and issues, okay?
Right.
Topics are things that we talk about that pop up, and we feel kind of safe talking about those things because we don't feel safe talking about issues, which are the real underlying
Absolutely.
foundational things that are going on. So we talk about topics because they're safer. And that's what most people do. It's kind of like if a husband's in a relationship that's not working for him because he wants to have more sex with his wife than she wants to have, but he doesn't want to bring that up because she might say, oh, I'm just not attracted to you anymore. He's too scared to take the risk to hear that, but he's upset, so he'll come home and come in the door and say, why is the tricycle left in the driveway? They'll fight about that instead of what's really going on, which is, I'm afraid you don't love me anymore. I'm afraid you're not interested in me anymore. I'm afraid we don't have a relationship and we've been married 7 months. The issue is, do we have a basis for this relationship? But they'll fight about the tricycle because it's safer. That's the topic. This is the issue. And I've read everything you guys have said. I've listened to your tapes. You're fighting about topics.
And that's exactly why I reached out, because I want to know if there is, what the real issue is that I don't know. Because
well, let's roll the dice. What's the issue here?
The issue in this most recent situation is there was a situation where my wife did reach out, to my mom, expressing that she was, upset about things that had happened, over the last few years. After she reached out to my mom didn't respond to her. And so then my mom reached out to me and had said, hey, I've noticed we haven't received any pictures of Sweet Pea, which is my daughter. And I said, well, Mom, I just didn't want to act like there wasn't something going on because, I was aware that something happened. I was aware that my wife reached out to my mom and that my mom didn't respond. And for me personally, I just couldn't, that's my wife. I couldn't just continue to, send pictures and have smiley faces and heart emojis and things like that, knowing that there is an issue going on. So I addressed it with my mom, and then I just felt like the conversation between her and I went into this downward spiral where I felt like things were said to me that had nothing to do with the actual issue.
Which is? You just
the way
described
that, the way that
What's the issue?
The issue that initially led to all of this, there's been a few. One, I was upset that she...
You think she disrespected your spouse?
Yeah, I think so. And, I have an understanding of what the conversation or what the text was.
Doesn't matter. I'm trying to get you to deal with the issue. Do you think she disrespected you? Was it something else? It's not about who said what to who on some Facebook page. Seriously? This woman will die way before you if there's a natural cycle of life. And when she's gone 5 years later, are you really going to be at peace with saying, I didn't talk to her for a year because of something was said on Facebook?
I agree. It wasn't the issue. It wasn't the fact that she didn't respond to my spouse. It was the way that I felt in the messages that were being sent to me. As a result, I was trying to keep the peace. I was trying to have a conversation about the issues so that we could move forward.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get in return?
Nothing. I mean, it was an ongoing conversation that led me to feel like crap, to be honest with you.
How many children do you have?
3.
How you get along with the other 2?
I don't. It's not my choice.
So you have 3 children, you don't have an ongoing relationship with any of the 3?
Right.
Is that a common denominator?
If I'm the issue, then okay, I'm the issue.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you get up in the morning, you go to the grocery store and a fight breaks out, and you leave the grocery store and go to the gas station, fight breaks out. You leave the gas station, go to the church, fight breaks out. What's the common denominator?
Me.
Lynn and Amy are both willing to walk away from tonight and never speak again. What brought it to a head where you said, okay, enough's enough, too much is too much, I'm not doing this? You would die for her.
Yes.
But will you live for her?
That's a good question.